Hi Stampin' Friends, it's Charlene from stampinwithcharlene.com and welcome to Almost Live Stampin' with Charlene for our November 2022 card kit in the mail. Tonight we are going to be making fall Thanksgiving cards, and there's 5 different cards. They're so cute. I want to show them all to you now, and I don't know which one I should make for the tutorial. I'm just going to kind of throw them up in the air and see which one I catch. But stay until the end and you'll see all of the different designs that are part of the November 2022 card kit in the mail. I decided to make this one because it is directly out of the Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to copy things that you see in the catalog. And also, let me give you the details on how you can participate in the card kit in the mail. You need to place an order of $35 or more before tax and shipping from my online store. The link is below. And you can purchase the items that I'm going to use tonight, which are right from the holiday catalog from Stampin' Up! Or you can use your own supplies that you already have that coordinate with the paper. And in exchange for the $35 order, I mail you for free all of the pre-cut, pre-scored cardstock, ribbon, embellishments, everything that you need to assemble the cards, the paper and embellishment part of it. You're going to need all of the ink and the tools and the adhesive. So you can also go to my blog for more details, but let's get to the fun part and get started on making the fun card. Here's a closer look at the card that we're going to make tonight. And the reason I chose this one out of all the 5 to demonstrate is because it uses the most techniques. We're going to use the blending brushes, watercolor pencils, craft ink, which I haven't used in a long time, and then we are also going to do some embossing. So this one is going to be really fun, so let's get started. You'll soon see all of the fun goodies and supplies that we get to use to make this card. I think that's why I picked this one, because it's so fun to get my hands on all these different tools and play around. So the first thing that we're going to do is make our very own unique designer series paper. This is a piece of paper from the, what's it called? I think it's called just the black and white designer series paper from Stampin' Up! From the holiday catalog. And all we're going to do is take our blending brush, and I'm using crushed curry ink, and look at how easy it is to just make your own unique designer series paper. Just take the blending brush and ink up the paper any color you want. I'm using crushed curry because that's just part of the color scheme for this set of cards for this kit in the mail. But look at how easy that is. Ta-da! We're already done with step 1. So now all we have to do is just adhere this to our basic black cardstock base. And then we are going to move on to this black piece here, which even though when you get your kit, you're going to say, well, that's just a boring piece of black cardstock, but we're going to do so many fun things to this. First thing we're going to do is take our white pigment ink and the ink bottle, and we are going to put some of the white pigment ink onto the empty pad right there. So we're going to juice that up, and this is so that it doesn't dry out. Every time you use it, you're just going to put some ink on there. And you'll always have a nice ink pad. Now remember, this is pigment ink, and what that means is that it stays wet. It's not like our regular ink that we use when we're making cards. So you need to be really careful that you don't smear it while you're waiting for it to dry. But we're going to emboss this. So I'm going to get some on there. I'm going to use my finger just to wipe this away because I don't want to have any extra on the paper. And then I'm just going to put just this little decoration right up there in the corner like that. And if you want to, you can put another one down here, just like that. And now I'm going to hurry before it dries, and I'm just using clear embossing powder. You can use white if you want to, so you can even stamp it with Versamark and use white embossing powder if you don't have the white pigment ink. So I put my embossing powder on there. And now this is going to get loud, but what I'm going to do is use my heat tool. I'm going to apply the heat to where I just put the embossing powder, and you will see, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but the heat will emboss it and turn it into a beautiful, clear, embossed image. So it'll be raised and embossed. And now comes the fun part. I'm gonna take my white watercolor pencil, and on the sides, I'm just gonna lightly color a border. If you see, I'm just using the side of the pencil and just lightly putting a shadow on there on both sides. I mean, who would think of this? That's why I love to sometimes copy, well, not sometimes, a lot of the times, copy and just slightly modify the things that I see in the catalogs, because it's things that I would never think of. I'm using the Hello Harvest stamp set, and right now I'm going to use this stamp here and this stamp here, the big pumpkin, but you can use whatever fall, Thanksgiving stamp set that you have that coordinates and that might fit on the cardstock. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a piece of Sahara sand and my Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp this giant pumpkin, which I love. It is so cute, and wait until you see the other cards, because you'll see the really fun thing that we're going to do with this pumpkin. So I'm going to stamp my pumpkin. And then with Memento ink, I'm going to stamp 2 of this bunch of flowers onto basic white cardstock. From the coordinating rustic pumpkin dies, I am going to use this die here to die cut out the bunch of flowers, and this one here to cut out the pumpkin. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. I love these dies because I can use the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I don't have to bring out my big one. So I'm just going to build my little sandwich here and cut them out, and not have to be bothered with this card or any of the cards hauling out my big machine. Now that we have everything cut out, we're gonna use our watercolor pencils and our blender pen to color in the flowers here. And I'm gonna use the, the green for the leaves, the yellow for the sunflower, just to give you an idea. And then for these little little tiny flowers, I'm going to use rich razzleberry. And for the center of the sunflowers, I'm going to use orange. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. And if you aren't familiar with blender pens, what I did with the watercolor pencils is you'll notice that I didn't color in everything. I just basically kind of scribbled in the lines to deposit the color. And the blender pen is going to, if you could see this on the camera, it's going to blend the color, sort of like you're using the color that you deposited on the paper. You're going to use the blender pen to water paint with it. And it doesn't matter that the tip is stained, because I rubbed it on my scrap paper to make sure that I got all the color out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and blender pen in the entire image. I have everything cut out and colored in, but before I start putting these on my card, I am going to take this piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and I am going to stamp my sentiment on here. And the reason I'm going to do it now is because I'm going to use my pigment ink. And like I said before, this doesn't dry instantly like the regular water-based ink does. So I'm gonna juice up my pad again. And I wanna stamp this now so that I can set it aside and give it some time to dry before I put it on the card, because I don't want it to smudge. But I want to use it because it looks so cool, the white ink. And let's see if I can get this straight the first time. Oh, look at that. Let's do it again. See if I can get it a little bit straighter because I have OCD. See if I like this one better. Yes, okay. Get 2 tries with the cardstock, front and back. Okay, so I'm just gonna set that aside to dry, and now I'm gonna start building the card. And now you'll see how easy it is to build the card. I'm gonna first take my pumpkin and put it right down here. I guess I really didn't need to put that down there, but it felt fun at the time to do it, but you're not gonna see it because it's gonna be covered up by the pumpkin. So we'll put our pumpkin down here. I wanna leave a little bit of the white though, so you can see the border there. And then I am going to put dimensionals all over the back of one of these. Just one, I'm gonna put them all over the back. And you're gonna see why in a second. And for this one, I am going to put it over, like right about there. I guess sort of to the left so you can see it hanging down over here. And now I want to show you, you're not going to put the dimensionals on the entire back of this one because part of it is going to lay on this one, which already has dimensionals on it. So if you put dimensionals on the whole thing, then it's going to be lopsided, and this is going to be, part's going to be higher and lower. So we're just going to leave that the way it is. But before we put this down, what we're going to do is flip it over, and we're going to put one dimensional here, and I guess one will fit probably right about there. And I'm gonna take my linen thread and, okay, I'm gonna flip it over, place it where I wanna go, like probably right about there. And then I'm gonna take my linen thread and kind of make it into a loop like that, and then put it where I want it to go, but I'm gonna use that dimensional to hold it down. Whoops, which it didn't do because I didn't take the paper back off. Okay, so just like that. Okay, so you see how I did that? The dimensional I used to hold down the linen thread. Now, even though this might be dry, might not be dry, I'm gonna be careful with it and make sure that I don't touch the words because I want it to be nice and dry. I don't wanna ruin the card that I just spent all this time making. And I am gonna place it right down here with a little bit of this flower hanging over. Just like that. And then I'm going to take these fun rhinestones, which are part of the it's part of the leaf, this here. It's a leaf label and amber gem combo pack. And we are in one of the cards going to use these cute little leaves that are like little labels. And we're going to use these amber gems, which are gorgeous. So I'm going to just put a large one down here in the corner, the right-hand corner, and then 2 of the smaller ones just randomly up here. And that is all it takes, my friends. We used a lot of our stuff, but it was such an easy card to make. So now let's take a look at all the other 5 cards. So this is card 1, and 3 out of the 5, I copied 95% from the catalog, and then the other 2 I made on my own. That's card 1. This is card 2. And you'll see when I said that you could do so much with this pumpkin, I don't know if you could tell on there, but I used gold embossing powder on the pumpkins, and then I colored them in. So fun. And then this is the other one that I 95% copied out of the catalog. And then on my own, I did this one here and this one here, which uses that little leaf label. I know you're going to absolutely love the November 2022 card kit in the mail, fall/Thanksgiving cards. You can use whatever stamp set you already have. Just place an order of $35 or more and you will get all of the pre-cut paper and embellishments and ribbon and a link to the private video for the tutorial for the other 4 cards that are part of the kit. And the reason I'm most excited about this is because now I have Halloween and Thanksgiving behind me and I can take out all the stuff to make Christmas. Ah! See you later, guys.